fully committed to it. They are going in. They've taken Zedd hostage officially. Will not release him. He doesn't want to help. But their plan is moving forward, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
Which is really a bummer because we really want Zedd to be there for Richard right now. And like Kahlan and Addie need help. Literally, Zedd could be anywhere other than he is right now and be a huge help. Same with Richard, although he's determined he needs to stay where he's at. But it's just like, oh.
Yeah. Well, and I vaguely remember from a past read what kind of happened, but I don't really remember. And in my brain right now, I'm like, he probably could have helped them, like, in some other way without having to leave, or he could have helped Richard before he left, and it would have been fine. But no, now he's in this weird stalemate with Verna, where she can't really control him or hurt him.
Right.
And not that she wants to, but she can't, because he could fuck her up.
Right.
But he's locked there.
Yeah, he can't get away, but neither one of them really has an advantage. I mean, I guess in a way Anne does.
Yeah, I mean, she's got him, but...
Yeah. But
he's like, I'm gonna kill you. So, theoretically, he could get away. I guess. He's saying.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, he's just got to wait for that perfect opportunity. And once it presents itself to him, he's going to take it.
Yeah.
Which we know because Richard has done that before. Kahlan has done that before. It's not about trying to break away or break out immediately. It's more about just waiting for that perfect timing. And once it shows up, throwing 100% of what you have at it to be successful and to get away.
Yeah. I'm gonna fuck some shit up. And then we'll see what happens.
Well, speaking of the perfect opportunity, Jade, I believe we are exactly halfway through our notes right now.
Oh, wow.
And you know what that means?
That means a beer break.
That means a beer break.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to give it everything I have. Open 10 of them, bitches. Let's go.
Wow.
We're going to beer bong it.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. All right. So today we finally got to try. I'm reading the name. That's why it screwed me up. We finally get to try Strawgator from Abita. Or Abita Brewing Company. I think it's Abita too. I think you're right. So this is Abita Strawgator. It's a fusion of strawberry lager sweetness with a bite of Andigator and Digator. Don't know what that is. Andigator sounds wrong, but it sounds cool. It's a golden lager. It's made with malted barley and wheat. It's hopped with German pearl hops for a delicate hop flavor, and that definitely comes out in the taste. After filtration, generous amounts of fresh Louisiana strawberry juice are added, giving the beer a pleasant sweet taste and aroma, as well as rich golden color and slight cloudiness. Strawgator is a great dessert. It also pairs excellently with chocolate dishes and cheeses such as Saint Andre, mascarpone, and brie. Yeah. I like how they say chocolate and fruit dishes.
Yeah.
It's not just a piece of dessert. No, we're going to make you a whole ass dessert. And that's what this goes good with when you're treating yourself. Now, I will say, typically, I'm not a huge fan of lagers per se.
It calls itself a Doppelbeck on the can.
Yeah, it does say that. And I'm not 100% sure what that is. I'm going to look that up right now just so I have some idea.
I thought it was a German brewing thing.
That could very well be. If I could just figure out how to spell that. But yeah, so the strawberry flavor, it is present. It's not very strong. The lager definitely introduces hops into the flavor, but it's not so overpowering to where it like turns me off to it.
It's not like an IPA.
Yes, it's not like an IPA. So I liked this beer. It wasn't what I expected. Not like full strawberry flavor, but it's very good.
And 8%?
8% too, yeah. So that's always a plus.
It's super light tasting and it's 8%. So you can probably pound a couple of those back before you realize that it's 8%.
Yeah. Oh, shit. That's strong. All right. So I looked up Doppelbock, and Doppel means double. This style is a bigger and stronger version of the lower gravity German style Bock beers.
Right.
Originally made by monks in Munich, the Doppelbock beer style is very food friendly and rich in melanoidins, reminiscent of toasted bread. Color is copper to dark brown, so that's what that is.
Hell
Double
yeah.
strong.
I knew it was German.
Well, they make good beer over there. Apparently, most of what we drink here in America isn't classified as real beer there in Germany.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd like to try some more German beers and or go to Germany sometime and try them for myself, straight out the tap. I think that would be great.
That would be great.
But we are going to go ahead and finish this. Cheers to all of you guys out there, and we will be back right after this.
And we're back. So, we cut to Richard 3 weeks after we saw him last, getting a report that there's still no sign of Kahlan. These dudes have, they did it all in a compressed sweep all the way through, and now they're doing, separate crews spread out across the land. So he's getting, 5 reports minimum a day of just different people coming and being like, no sign, and then having to go back. So there are runners. This establishes that. You can't do that shit. Our people have just not chosen to do it.
The only one was a message from Richard to Kahlan that was brought by way of Gratch.
Yeah.
But they're not, nobody's realized, hey, let's just pay a dude to take this over there for me.
And all of them have had men at their disposal. I just want to point that it's not they only had 3 of them with them. Kahlan had a whole group of Galean people that, she could have chosen, and so did fucking Richard.
Yeah.
This is...
There's a person you can send.
Yeah. So anyways, Richard's been whiling away the time working on the journal with Burdine. So he's not sitting there going crazy, wondering where the fuck she is, because obviously something's wrong. At this point, he hasn't said it explicitly yet, but she should have been found if she was as close as he thought she was.
Right, yeah. She would have been found by now for sure. I do think it was funny, though, because Richard is obviously bored as hell. When we see him for the first time in this chapter, he's sitting on a chair, yawning, literally going out of his mind with boredom, waiting for the next runner. So he's like, okay, let's do this in the meantime. We can stay productive. But yeah, he's definitely, this is torture for him. He hates this.
Yeah. And I guess that's the thing. We see more boredom and, focus on the book here, which is what he's trying to do. But we don't see the fact that it's been 3 weeks for the runners to find Kahlan, who was supposed to be on her way back. So she should have only been a couple weeks out. At this point, he should be really starting to get worried.
Well, yeah, I think had nothing happened, she would have been there by now.
Yeah.
So the fact that he has to send people out to look for her and they haven't found anything, something is wrong. That's what it tells me, for sure.
Yeah, he just seemed, I guess I hadn't realized that until we were just talking right now. He is focusing on this book enough to where he's not freaking the fuck out, because he kind of should be.
And that's why he picks up the language so fast. He's to the point where he's able to speak it during the day. Maybe not entirely, but he's picking up longer sentences and meanings, and he's becoming a source of knowledge himself.
Yeah, using that book, The Adventures of Bonnie Day, they've been working through it, and they've been using the journal. They realized it was a journal, and they're working from the beginning so that they can kind of figure out the idiosyncrasies and how he talks, so they can get, we say weird things in English all the time that people doesn't translate very well.
Figures of speech and stuff.
Yeah, they're trying to figure all that shit out, and as they're going through, they realize that this guy didn't write his own name, because you don't normally do that in a journal. And so they give him a name. And I can't say it.
Colo.
Yeah,
for sure.
Colo.
It's Colo for short.
Colo. I think you wrote it out here in the notes.
I phonetically spelled it in the notes. It's Colo Bleakin. Which is, look, I don't know if that's 100% right, but that is how the narrator said it. And I was like, okay, I can remember that. So I spelled it out Kolobleekin. And I know it's not that way in the book. But I was like, that'll work.
Yeah.
Audially, it sounds the same.
Yes. Colo Bleakin.
Close. Try again.
Colo Bleakin? That's how you said it. I was trying to say it quickly, you would say it. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways.
Could have been a Did I get it?
They figure that this guy's about 50, and it was his job to guard the slip. Because he did talk about having these journals since he was like 10. And he mentioned how many he had for some reason.
Right.
So like they were able to be like, oh, this many journals per year. This dude's a 50-year-old man guarding the Sliff. And they also decipher that he wrote in there, the third attempt to forge a sword of truth failed today. The women and children of those who died are roaming the halls in anguish. How many will die before we succeed? And Richard feels bad because it's a sword.
Yeah, well, he feels like he's been taking the sword for granted. Like, it's easier for him to just imagine that it was just always a sword. And some great wizard came in and was like, pshoo, pshoo, now you have power. But that's not what happened at all. They say 5 people died just today.
Yeah, just one day.
Working on his sword. And he's like, damn, that means it happened a lot. How many people are going to die before we get this thing right? A lot more than 5 people died making this sword.
Yeah, I mean, people be dying all the time in Kolo's journal.
ABD, always be dying.
Always be dying. They got all the people that are going to the towers. They got all these people trying to forge the sword. And it's not great.
No.
But it does make things a lot more real for Richard as he's reading this book. He reads about like the people with the additive magic coming in and not really being respected, and Kolo having to fight for that too. And we know eventually that's kind of all that's left at the keep is additive magic users.
It's very uncommon for people with subtractive magic to be, well, anywhere, I guess.
So, I mean, I guess it's good that Kolo was one of the good guys fighting a good fight, because eventually that's all that was left anyways.
Survival of the fittest and whatnot.
He also puts in there that last night, enemies were sent through the Sliff. That's how we pronounce that, right?
The Sliff?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sliff.
Yeah, okay. I didn't listen to the last audiobook. I read it. So I just like to verify that this is how we're all pronouncing things, and I'm not going to be laughed at.
I do believe it's pronounced Slipaha, but I could be wrong.
Slipe.
Yeah, it's Sliff.
So when the towers concluded, the old world will be sealed away and the Sliff will sleep, and everybody's going to be safe. Except for the one man on guard. He's going to be sealed away with the Sliff, and he won't have time to get out.
Right, which we kind of put 2 and 2 together and figured that's what happened to Kolo.
Yeah.
Nin.
Unless he just, like, left his journal in there for, like, his coworkers to read while they were hanging out, and the other guy just happened to get caught in there with him.
He's like, oh, no shit!
Yeah.
That's a regular, what movie is it? Oh, Watchmen. When Dr. Manhattan, he goes into that chamber and then it gets activated.
Yeah.
So he gets all the atoms pulsed through his body and he becomes big and blue and powerful. And maybe that's what happened to Kolo.
Yeah. Maybe it's not actually Kolo.
He's Super Kolo now.
Yeah. You think he's... Okay. Yeah, like he transformed into a
He's
being?
the sort of truth universes. Dr. Manhattan, a big nuclear, wow, ambiance, a big nuclear supergiant with powers. We just haven't met him yet.
And an amazing ambivalence to human people.
Maybe Kolo is the creator. Okay. I'm joking. I'm that look you just gave me said it all. I need to be quiet now. I'm sorry.
Anyways, back on track.
Right.
Richard figures that the Sliff's chamber was open because he destroyed the towers.
Yup.
And I want to say, Al on Facebook said this when we were all like, this is probably what did it. Because we were like, maybe the people from the old world that showed up were using Sliff. But no, it's this.
We're just throwing wild theories out there.
Yeah.
And Al, he's always right there. He's like, actually.
Yeah, don't you remember? This is what's right. And he remembers, he's good, and I don't. So I'm glad
he's got Richard memory.
Yeah, it's
pretty amazing.
And it also mentions, though, that the Sliff thing must live in... Well, Richard thinks that the Sliff thing must live in that well, and it lets people travel far distances, because that's how the assassins came into the keep.
Right. It must be. He keeps reading about people traveling through the Sliff, and that's the only way he can figure that it works.
It's a super long tunnel. It's like a slide. You just jump down there, and it's like...
It's a magic water slide.
Yeah. I'm
No,
just saying,
please, sir, put your shirt back on. You don't have to do that.
it doesn't even matter. Like, there's